To this episode of Shift. I'm your host, Palmonia Gordon. When there is a breakdown in relationship between a man and a woman, what's the biggest thing that's impacted? It's the money, the sex, and the money. I'm doing this. I'm speaking to us as women because many times when a relationship breaks down for us as women, we go, that's it. I'm done with men. I don't want to have anything to do with men. I don't want a more relationship. And the man, and he moves on and he's next. The secret here says for wealth lies with our sex, desire, and how we can transmute that into money, like towards riches. It says the meaning of the word transmute is in simple language the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. Everything around us is energy. So that is the secret. It says the emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. Because of ignorance on the subject, this state of mind is generally associated with the physical. Because of improper influences of which most people have been subjected in acquiring knowledge of sex, things essentially physical have high bias the mind. So basically he's saying we've just been taught to believe that when it comes to sex, it's an interaction between man and a woman. We don't know how to use the desires and the feel and the thought about sex to create wealth. As a matter of fact, the richest man who ever lived, according to the Bible, was Solomon. Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. I'm thinking, dang. Maybe the art was he traded these wives and he got wealth. You know how they gave the dowry or whatever they would give for him to actually take these women. But at the end of the day, I'm sure he didn't sleep with them all. So that physical aspect of it that we look at, clearly that was not the case. But the art of seeing them and having them around him somehow contributed to him becoming one of the richest men that ever lived, coupled with the fact, of course, we know that he asked God for wisdom as opposed to riches. Now here it says the emotion of sex has behind the potential of three constructive potentialities. One, the perpetuation of mankind. We procreate through sex. Two, the maintenance of health. It's good for your health. It's good for your heart. As a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. I'm reading from the book. Any medical doctor, any medical personnel, please feel free, dive in, comment, leave the information there. Let me know. As a matter of fact, my mom has a story. Her husband passed more than 10 years ago. And she said over the years, as her body started having different ailments and situations, and she'd go to the doctor and they would actually say to her, it's because she wasn't, being active like that. And she goes, nah, she thought it was just male doctors who probably was trying to get a little piece of my mom. And she said she finally went to a female doctor who told her the very same thing. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, I don't believe it personally, but I am also not in a space where I have given up on sex and relationship, because that is the difference. Have you given up the possibility or the hope of being in a relationship that is whole and allows you to move into that creative space? Right? And then, of course, the third is transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation. Sex transmutation is simple and easily explained. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. I'm going to repeat that. Sex transmutation is simple and easily explained. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to the thoughts of some other nature. Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, people develop keenness of imagination. That's how people get creative, and we get the S&M and all the different designs and styles and modalities that are used. It's when the thought comes, people get creative. What would it feel like if I tried this? What would it be like if I do this? And that developed the keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability known to them at other times. So when the emotion of sex comes upon us, we can get creative. Our mind is in a space to create like it never has before, which was why Delilah was able to fool Samson all the time. Because when his emotion for sex came up and she would say, oh, do so-and-so, tell me the secret, he was just, okay, because that was what he wanted in a sense, which he was doing it the wrong way. Hey, Brian, thank you for joining us. How are you? The transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower to be sure, but the reward is worth the effort. So it calls for you to be able to restrain yourself so that you can channel that energy into creating the wealth or whatever else it is that you desire. The desire for sexual expression is inborn and natural. The desire cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated. But it should be given an outlet through forms of expression that enrich the body, mind, and spirit. So it should be something that when you walk away, you are feeling as if you encountered a better part of yourself. You shouldn't walk away feeling like, oh my God, I feel dirty and nasty and I need a shower. That's not the best expression of sex in that sense. Thank you for stopping by this episode of Shift. Subscribe, leave a comment, like, share the information. But most of all, like the second hand on the clock, take 60 tiny moves that you can come back tomorrow. I love you. God bless you. Have a good